Ooh, a little shaky. Okay, so equation type 2 is a radical equation. A radical equation has a radical in it. Right? The steps to solve a radical equation is you want to get the square root by itself using algebra and then square both sides. Right? Once you get your answers, you got to check and make sure that they work in the original, right? Because when you do this process, you might create extraneous roots, ones that work in your quadratic but don't work in the original. All right, so here's the square root. So think about this as a one term and get it by itself. So I'm going to subtract x from both sides. So now I get the square root 2x minus 7, and on this side, this is an x. Subtract x from both sides, so 5 minus x. Square root's by itself, now square. So I'm going to square this, and square this binomial. Squaring the square root takes you back to what's the base expression. Now be careful about this. Done this a million times. 5 minus x times 5 minus x. Alright, so 5 times 5, 5 times negative x times 5, negative x times negative x, positive x squared. Okay, so before I start moving terms, I'll combine like terms on the same side. Okay, now this is a positive x squared, so I'm going to leave the x squared terms on this side and get 0 on the other side. So subtract 2x from both sides. Negative 10 minus 2 is a negative 12. Then add 7. So I'm subtracting 2, and I'm going to add 7 to that guy. 25 plus 7. 32. Look at that. Now, these are pretty complicated, so they're not going to have to use the quadratic formula and solve this. So this should factor. Let's see. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 and 4 is 12. So I need 2 negatives. Negative times a negative positive. Negative plus a negative negative. So x equals 8. X equals 4. Right, now go ahead and check. So x equals 8. So 2 times 8 minus 7 plus 8. See if I get 5. So that's 16 minus 7. 16 minus 7 is 9 plus 8 equals 5. Now this, the reason you only keep the positive square root is because remember we need to keep this to be a function, so you only keep the positive. So 3 plus 8 equals 5, 11 equals 5, nope. So this is not a solution. If you do 4, then 2 times 4 minus 7 plus 4 has to equal 5. This is 8 minus 7, which is 1. Square root of 1 is 1. That checks. So x equals 4 is your solution. Remember, this guy here is extraneous. on my calculator. Remember, calculator solutions are really good if this was a multiple choice. You wouldn't have to do it algebraically. So I type in 2y1, the left side of the equation, second square root, 2x minus 7, outside the radical, plus 5, plus x, and then on the other side, do 5, try zoom standard. There's the square root. Look at that. Cross is at 4. Looks like 4. Now, if I didn't know what the solution was already, second calc, intersect. Find my cursor. Crosshairs, get it close. Basically, hit enter 3 times. X equals 4. Cool.